we are, we are not only doing Shravan, but we are writing in our mobile phone now. And every day we must read. These are no, 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 no. And we can experience the impact immediately, instantly. When we drop that aspect, we can experience here and now what is the result of it. So we will see once the session starts what all no's we have covered. And today's no is the one which actually started this process, because this I have been mentioning, practicing, not very easy. That is today's no, that is no complaints. So let us sit straight. Head, neck, backbone straight. This we must practice daily, to sit quietly doing nothing. Doing nothing is a very difficult practice. Doing nothing, I am nothing. A still body is a very important part of a sadhak's process in sadhana. Because when the body quietens down, the mind also quietens down. It is easier to keep the body still, and then one comes to the mind. At mind level, maximum energy is wasted, drained when the mind goes into the past and future. So we block those energy leakages and focus on our breath. Breath is one entity which is available for us anytime to practice. And bring the mind in the present moment. So let us take a deep, slow, conscious, happy breath. Full breath. Most of the time we take 1/4 of the breath. And when we are anxious, angry, complaining, then the breath becomes very shallow. A still body, a cheerful, quiet mind, a very clear intellect is the instrument which is suitable for Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasanam. And when we accomplish this, then the second part is God's grace, Guru Parampara's blessings. So let us chant loudly together. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बो फलसारभक्षितं उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजं सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम
Hari Om. Thank you, Manisha. So, welcome to all. On Sunday morning, we are doing the 9 no's and the 9 yes from the Bhagavad Gita. And the topic to remember, the 9 no's are acid case. So, we should not be an acid case. And that acid, there are 2 C's in that. So, we can remember easily what are the 9 no's. So, first no, what we saw is no attachment. Asanga shastrena drudena chitva. Second no, we saw no comparison. Paradharmo bhayavaha. Third no, we saw no criticism. Adveshta sarva bhutanam. This is one of the favorite verse of Gurudev, because one person constantly asked for many months, and then he told, this is my favorite verse, Advishta Sarva Bhutanam, Maitra Karuna Evacha. Fourth no is no insistence in acid case. Now after 2C1I, Ma Phaleshu Kadachana, no insistence on the outcome. Our adhikar is only on the action process. And last time we saw no doership, the most fundamental one at the core. And that is what happens in enlightenment realization, that I realize that I am not the doer only. Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. And in the 13th chapter also Bhagavan mentions that kshetrajnam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. In all kshetra, I am the knower and doer. And today we are going to take So acid is completed, ACCID. Now case. So our practice is to remember this word acronym acid case, so that it becomes easy to remember every day, morning and evening, what are the 9 no's I have to drop, because many times we forget. Because I know many people do a lot of Shravan every week and this is not remembered. So this is a practice, more of practice, more of doing, and more we can see the result here and now. So when we drop attachment, we can experience freedom. When we drop comparison, we can experience contentment, not complacency. When we drop criticism, we can experience openness, which is called as acceptance. When we drop insistence, we can experience adaptability, flexibility. Immediately I become flexible. Any team I can work. And when we drop doership, then I can experience humility, and other people also will see. Because doership creates that kind of arrogance that I am doing. So with that, we will go to today's no, that is no complaints. And what is a verse? There are a couple of verses in this. We will see. So, Manisha, are you able to see the slide
Yes, yes.
fully?
Yes, fully. You are not able to see?
No, I'm not able to.
It was already in that this mode, slideshow mode.
Okay.
No, now it is not slideshow.
Okay.
तर पहिलं अगोदरचं स्लाइड शो बंद कर. येऊ?
No, it's okay. Yeah. So, no complaints. Very, very important. This is actually the C what I started the journey, and then it went to no criticism, no comparison. So, what is the verse? Dukkheshu anudvigmanaha, sukheshu vigata spruha, vitaraga bhayakrodha. And this is the sthiti of a muni. Stitadhi muni uchchate. So, one, and who complains? That one whose mind is disturbed. That person's expression is always outside as complaining. And what is the another verse, which is one of my favorite verses? Yasman no dvijate loka, lokan no dvijate chayaha. This is one of my favorite verse to practice, which says that from whom the world does not become agitated, and second, and one, and who is not agitated by the world. So why this is related to complaint? Because only when I'm agitated, disturbed, then it is expressed as complaint. Oh, so do you mean complaining is bad? I should not complain when my fridge goes out of window, when my washing machine is not working, in office, in all the companies, there is one customer complaint number. Or do you think we should not complain? We will see distinction. What is a complaint and what is rumination? So what is a complaint, first of all? A complaint is a repeated expression of dissatisfaction about a situation. Very important one. Or outcome without constructive action. Very important one. A repeated expression of dissatisfaction about something, about a situation, about a person. and I'm not taking any action on it. I'm not solving the problem, but this becomes a habit. Many people have this habit, and I can give you a challenge that anytime you go to airport, railway station, bus stand, or any function and just keep quiet. So first of all, I have to keep quiet because this is a problem. And then observe and hear what people are talking. I can challenge you, 70 to 80% of people are complaining about something, even though they are in ashram and spiritual sadhaks. So complaint is a mental leak, a negative emotion, reduced energy, because it is originating from a agitated mind. In psychology, there is a constructive complaint. So now we'll have to discriminate between constructive complaint and actually this complaint. One of the best word on this is rumination. So there is a constructive complaint which I do to companies. I tell somebody that I have a problem here, and then the company takes care of it. I think all of you would have complained about something, mobile phone not working, or contacting customer cell. That is not the complaint we are discussing. We are discussing about a repetitive emotion focused term called as complaining or ruminating. There are some people who are constantly cribbing and complaining about something, body is not there, now I'm, no, this is paining, that is paining. Then once they complete their body, then what to do? No, I can't do this, I can't do this. Then after that, about some neighbor, some relatives. Then if that is over, then something about situation, politics. If that is over, then Kali Yuga. Complaint is a something different. There is a complaint, something is not working. There is a information I have and I act on it. Versus complaint, what we are discussing here is an emotion, a repetitive rumination. But this you have already covered. No, criticism is. So what is the difference in criticism and complaint? There is a difference. What you will never find in all organizations a criticism handling cell, but in all organization we find there is a complaint handling department. You take railways, you take any company, you take Amazon, you take any mobile company, any company, fridge, they will always have a customer complaint number, but no company has criticism handling number or a department. So what is the difference? There is a subtle difference between both. A complaint usually contains an identifiable issue. If this is not working, in fridge it is not cooling, in washing machine this light is not coming, this mobile phone, this screen is not seen properly, and then you go to that particular store or department or online. While criticism is often an evaluation, judgment, or opinion. So this complaint we are not discussing here, because this is not coming from agitation. It may come from agitation, but there is an action I am taking and there is a fixing issue happening. This what we are taking as rumination, a negative emotion, and constant repetition of it without taking any action. A company can process a complaint, but it cannot meaningfully process every opinion or judgment, which is criticism. But one question is that why do people complain? Something they are complaining, something, and it's a negative emotion. It's a repetitive one. What are the reasons? So why people complain? And better word in psychology, there is a lot of material on this. They do not call complaint, they call rumination. Repetitive negative emotion expression. First, venting. I need to get off this my chest. So people complain. But we don't realize venting is not healing. It will not heal. And it will not heal others also. Seeking support. I want someone to understand me. Main question in Vedanta is, have you understood yourself? Who are you? Third, seeking change. This problem needs to be fixed. Sometimes I am the problem rather than the product. But these three is not ruminating. These are common. Sometimes I went out, it's still okay. Sometimes I seek support. I want someone to understand my feelings. Still okay. Sometimes I want to change certain things, so I complain. That is still okay. Next two are what we are going to discuss. That is complaining. That is ruminating. So today I must be able to distinguish these two things. Seeking validation. This is a complaint. Tell me that I am right. Most of the time when people complain, they want to be getting a validation from others that I am right. And the other person also says, yeah, I think it is quite justified. Self-focus in complaint and ruminating, repeatedly turning attention to my problem, my frustration, my unhappiness, my upset. The last two are where a complaining becomes a ruminating, and that becomes problematic. That is the problem which we must drop. So I hope what complaining, ruminating we are discussing in this, which Bhagavan says that Dukkheshvanudvik manaha. It is coming from an agitated mind. When the mind is happy, joyous, peaceful, complaints will not come. Something else will come, that we will see. The problem, and this is very interesting, this is very, very interesting research, that problem enhances with satsang here, not what we are reading in Bhaja Govindam. That also, so when spiritual sadhak discusses spirituality, it is called as satsang. It is also is a satsang. And this invariably happens with a problem sharing person, because I share one problem with you, you share 10 problems with me. Then I share 20 problems with you, and then these two people go to a bar, and then more problems after drinking. You know what happened? We will see this. So this in psychology is called as co-rumination. Complaining together phenomenon is a very, very interesting point. And that's the reason next time the practice we are going to say is that do not share, because it becomes a complaining satsang. Psychologists use the term co-rumination for repeatedly discussing with another person, speculating about causes and consequences, repeatedly focusing on negative emotion. We'll take example. For example, can you believe what this neighbor did, boss did? One person goes and talk. Other person, yeah, I know that person, neighbor or boss does this way only. I know that. And then he will say, and remember what happened last month, what this boss did, neighbor did, this person is a validation of that. Exactly, and nobody appreciates us. The office conversation going on. This company is hopeless. And interestingly, both agree. No point now. The conversation can create social bonding. These two people become very good friends, but does not create problem solving. That's the reason you will find that who are my friends and what are they doing? Two complainers becomes best friends because they complain about everything, and there is a group. Today we can see opposition only complains and oppose together. So very, very important portion. That's the reason we must not share with others because we are actually adding negative emotions under the garb of venting out. Sometimes it is okay with one person, we must vent out, not with the entire, whoever we come across, we start venting out. People can bond over a problem without solving the problem. You know what? India is, traffic jam, and then Kali Yuga is there. You know what is Kali Yuga? And then my time, how was my time? How we used to get, life and job and marriage and children. And now see what is going on. It is becoming very bad. Who is saying? God is creating. And God feels very angry when you say, oh, you are saying that my creation is a problem. Sthane Rishikeshe, my creation is perfect the way it is. This is how it should be. And then when today the senior citizens meet, then they will only talk about after some time their body problem, mind problem, relationship problem. And then today's generation, what is happening to today's generation, we do not know. They are so this thing, so this thing. But I am not doing anything about it. That is what is complaint. If I do something about it, then that complaint shifts to contribution. What is the psychology of this complaint? So we saw earlier an aspect called as co-rumination. But what is the psychology? We don't, this is very, very important for us to understand. And I have to ask myself whether I have understood this concept. If I do not understand, just by Shravan on this will not change my habit. I must be able to identify within what is my psychology, where it originates from. So number one, we create a story about what happens. That is the most important sentence. Every emotion, what is the difference between emotion and thought? Those who are learning spirituality, they know what is the definition of mind, flow of thought. Okay. But there are feelings also. But what is the difference between emotion and thought? Every emotion will have a story. You know what happened is that I am creating stories after story inside my mind. So there is something what happens outside. I make a story out of it. And there can be one line story. We'll see that. And that story I react. So what is the sequence? There is a fact, there is a trigger, there is a situation, there is an event which happens outside us. Then when that stimuli comes in my mind, I form a story. This I must become aware if I am a very subtle, sharp sadhak. What are the stories I am forming? There are one-line stories we are going to see, not big stories. There are very powerful one-line story which can ruin our life or make our life. One-line story. Shortest stories are this, one line. And that story creates the feeling, not the event. Very, very important. The stimuli or the trigger does not create the feeling. No, you said this, so I felt bad. No, whatever the other person said, I made a story out of it and I reacted on that story, what is created by me. No, because of you, I felt hurt. No, other person cannot hurt me. I have created a story on the words, what I've heard, and that story is creating feeling. And what happens when I share that story with 10 people? You are right. You are right. That person is bad. You are justified, and I will create 10 told stories. And then these two people believe that this is justified. This is what Arjuna was doing in a big chapter, first chapter called as Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Created a story in his mind. This war will happen, and there will be so many people will be killed, and then women will have no husbands, and children will have no values, and then there will be sin, and then who will rule, and all stories in the mind. So I don't want to fight. Action. For example, now in day-to-day example, this was a Bhagavad Gita example. Fact, in office, a colleague did not respond to my mail. This is a very common story. I called up, that person didn't respond. I send an email, that person didn't respond. I send a WhatsApp, that person didn't. It happens in our friend circle also. Story, he deliberately ignored me. I don't know what he thinks about him. What is the feeling? Anger. And what is the action? I confront him aggressively or complain to others. He is like that only. What he thinks about himself? He is very lazy, he is very arrogant, he is very this. He doesn't reply on time. The crucial point is that the story is our interpretation. So we do not respond to the world, situation, object, people, words of people, we do not respond. Our response comes from what is a story I have made out of it. And this is my own creation, my own suffering, or my own joy. If there is a pleasant story I can make, pleasantness will come out. The interpretation, if not managed properly, this story, it will lead to three clever one-line story which ruin our life. So there are three one-line stories, very, very powerful one, and we are not even aware. And then this person meets another person and they form a group and they will, it is justified. Because most of the time we want to justify what we are feeling. And that's the reason we want to validate from others. And yeah, you are right. So we will see the three clever stories. First story, one line story, these are victim story. This is a very, very common story. I am innocent. I am a victim of circumstances. Actually, I would have become another person, but what to do? Today, whatever I am is because of the circumstances I went through. Otherwise, I would have realized I would have become very successful. I would have earned a lot of money. I would have done this. I would have been different. But because of circumstances, I have become like this. Inside, I'm a different person. So this is a very common story which psychiatrists deal. Most of the time, psychiatrists, when a person goes, this is a very psychological aspect. They understand that this person is believing that I am a victim of the circumstances. Classic case in Mahabharata is Karna. Karna is a classic victim story. I am the victim. Otherwise, I would have been elder of Pandavas. What is the typical internal dialogue this story people create? I had no choice what to do. They made me do this. They put me in this situation. That person said this. This happened outside. This situation happened. What to do? I am not responsible. The psychological benefit is that protection of our self-image. And I don't have to examine my own responsibility. What to do. This person did, this person, parents said, so I did that. So I don't own up responsibility of myself, and then a person chants Uddhared Atmanat Manam. So this is a victim story. Many are into this, because the moment I complain, from today, I must be able to figure out in myself whether I am actually telling other person a victim story. If not, then I go to another story. Second one, villain story. Villain story is I am good, they are bad. Most people have a great myth that I am a good person. The moment I say that I am a good person, indirectly I am saying others are bad people. Deep within I am actually a good person, but other people are bad. They are bad, the world is bad, the situation is bad, all people are bad, even God is not so good because he's unfair. I am a good person. Villain story. We exaggerate the other person's negative intentions and characters. Typical internal dialogue the villain story will create. He is selfish, he doesn't care, they don't look after me, they are like that, they are very self-centric. So this is a villain story, what I am telling myself, constantly repeating. And whatever I repeat, whatever I practice, it becomes truth for me. I start really believing this is true. Arjun believed. They are not ready to come out of hand. Psychological benefit, the villain story makes anger feel justified. And that's the reason these people always will give justification, logic that, see, I said that because he did that. So it is justified. And other person, yeah, true. It happened with my case also, several months back, years back. And that person says another story. And then both become friends. Third story, helpless story. There is nothing I can do more than this. I went to 5 people. They denied funds for Chinmay mission. Then what can I do? I cannot do anything more, no. I invited 3 people. They are not coming for sessions. What can I do? I cannot do more than this, no. Gurudev was once asked, like, Gurudev, you came from Himalayas. You are giving discourses. If nobody comes to your discourse, what will you do? He told, my bags are packed inside. I will go to another place and talk. But there also nobody comes. I talk to myself. I will listen to myself. But we immediately, there are many people coming here in this help. What can I do? What one person can do? There is a story in this, and there was one boy on a beach was picking up something and throwing in the ocean. Early morning, one elderly person was walking there. He saw a small boy picking up something from the beach and throwing in the ocean. He said, "What are you doing? I'm seeing you since last because I'm having a morning walk." He said, "I'm picking up this jellyfish which have come last night outside, and I'm throwing them back in the ocean so that they will survive, because once the sun comes out, the jellyfish will die." The elderly man told, "But there are thousands of jellyfish on the beach. What difference will it make? And the sun is going to come out in the next 20 minutes. So he picked up one jellyfish, looked at the jellyfish, looked at the elderly person and said, "It will make a difference to this one." And he threw and he started his work. So this is another story what people have in them. "Oh, what can I do? I am one garib bechara person on this planet. What can I do?" One person can do a lot of things. What is a typical internal dialogue? What is the point? There is no point, today. There is no point. Youngsters are not coming only to discourses. Youngsters are not coming to spirituality. What can I do? We cannot do anything. We were different. We used to chant. Now nobody is chanting. Nothing will change. There are many people who come for training program. Their strong belief is that nothing works. Nothing works. It's better not to do anything. Then what to do? Complain. What is a payoff trade-off here? Converts frustration into passivity and resignation. This is what does the helplessness. I'm resigned now. I have tried everything. What do you have tried? 1, 2, 3. If you ask, it is hardly any trial, hardly any sacrifice, hardly any energy, money spent, but I have tried. Passivity and resignation is the trade-off of helplessness story. So what is the movement now? Is there another story we can create? Yes, that is what is the purpose of this session on Bhagavad Gita. Complaint. What is a complaint story? Nobody listens to my ideas. For example, victim story will say, they never gave me a chance, otherwise I would have spoken, but in the team, nobody allows me. Everybody speaks. It happens in all places where people meet. Villain story. These people are arrogant and don't value others. They don't allow other people to speak. Helplessness story, there is no point in trying anything more. Why waste your time, money, energy? And now we come to the fifth story, is where Lord Krishna changed Arjun's story. And that is a victor story. There are 3 V's: victim, villain, and victor. Victor stories, I have a choice. Karmanyevadhikaraste. If people are not listening to me, there are many people have this kind of complaint, in corporate life, in family life. Nobody listens to me. Why? Because I have not developed any influencing skills. Because I am boring. Because repeatedly I am saying the same thing. One must go and stand before the mirror and ask, am I an interesting person? Why people are not coming and talking to me? Small children, youngsters, peers, adults, people must come and talk, because if I am interesting person, if I have influencing skills, if I have listening skills, then more and more people will come and talk because they want to share. So this is only example of nobody listens to me. In office also, this is main problem. One of the problems in corporate people have, nobody listens to me. I have got lot of ideas, but nobody listens to me. A victor will say, they are not listening to me because I am not able to convince them. I am not putting the idea in a proper way. I am not influencing them. So let me learn the skills. So 2 statements makes a victor. 1, I have a choice. Second, what can I improve? What can I contribute? That makes a victor story. So this is exercise now, how to come out of the complaining mindset. What are the facts? First of all, I must ask. Situation, trigger, what happened? We are going to take example on this. So what are the ways I can overcome this complaining attitude, complaining mentality, complaining habit? Because it's a very deep-rooted habit. So I must check what happened outside. What are the facts? Separate what I observed from what I concluded, what I'm making a story. That is a very important first step. For example, somebody, the meeting is at 3 o'clock. You call people at 3 o'clock. Somebody reports at 3:30. The fact is that the meeting was at 3 o'clock. Someone came at 3:30. That is what is a statement. But I will create a story. I will conclude, he is always late, is always lazy, what to do, there is no time discipline, and then all these are my stories. The fact is what? The meeting was at 3 o'clock. This person reported at 3:25. This is a factual statement. What story I am telling myself? That is the second one I must be aware of. Very, 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 very important to ask, because this is where we have to catch. What is a story in this? Because without a story, my emotion will not come. Because a story will have an emotion, and which I believe. Am I making myself the victim? Am I making someone else the villain in that? Am I assuming intention without evidence? Am I telling a helplessness story? Am I ignoring options that are actually available? What is my contribution? This I am going to repeat thrice. How to overcome this complaining mindset? By asking one powerful question: what can I do in this situation? If somebody says something to me, if something happens outside, train is late, rickshaw I am not getting, rain, suddenly we are going down, it is raining, no rickshaw is stopping. See, these rickshawalas are like that only. They will take advantage when it is raining. Already story started, conclusion started. All these years I have been getting rickshawala. See these taxiwalas and rickshawala, they will always fool people. Some people have very strong belief that all people outside rickshawala, taxiwala, this shopkeeper, this person are bad. What can I do about it? Is the shift. What can I do about it? This is perhaps the most powerful question in tackling the complaint. Because the moment I get into this thought, the rumination will stop and I will get into action. We'll take example on this. So what we spoke, we will take an example, because this is a subtle point how to overcome complaint, because there is a psychology. What is the psychology? Fact, story, interpretation, story, and then feeling, and then action. So situation we will take. I'm taking basically here corporate situations, but this can be, this is a very common situation in all relationships and family and neighbors in society. My colleague did not respond to my message for 2 days. This is the situation. I send a WhatsApp, I send an email, but that person has not responded. This is the situation, fact. So now we will see exactly word by word what happens, where this complaint comes from. What are the facts? I sent a message on Monday, did not receive a response till Wednesday. This is what I must say. But I have already created a story. Concluded, he is deliberately ignoring me. No, I have seen he has read the message, but he has not responded. Because people today go on WhatsApp and check how many people have seen. What story am I telling myself? He doesn't respect me, or consider my work as important. I have already telling the story to myself. Am I making someone else the villain? He's arrogant, careless, intentionally trying to undermine me. That's the reason he's not replying. He has seen the message. Check, do I actually have evidence of this intention? Am I telling a helplessness story after this? Is a situation. Huh? My colleague did not respond to my mail which was sent on Monday till Wednesday. There is nothing I can do. How many mails should I send? How many times I should follow up? I just have to tolerate behaviors of people. People don't respond on time. This is a very common message. If you are in committee of Chinmay Mission or you are in office, this is one thing what people observe. Anybody writes a information about something, they don't reply only. How many people will attend the meeting? No reply only. Then again the follow-up has to be done. Who all you want to attend? Then today there is a poll. That poll also you have to remind twice, thrice. How many people are going to have food, lunch? No response. It's a very common situation. But how these stories we create, and then alternative, I can follow up, call him up, clarify expectation or ask without having the ill feeling. No, why should I do? He should have done. Why people are not responding to email and SMSs and WhatsApp? I don't know. Very common problem. So what is my contribution? This is where the shift happens from complaint. Did I communicate clearly? Did I make the urgency clear that you have to actually give the information to me by today because I have to give to the caterer? How can I give to the caterer? How many lunches and what is to be ordered? Then if not, follow up without anger, without frustration, without a complaint, without saying what you don't ever complain. I sent 3 messages, you didn't reply only. Did I follow up appropriately? That is in my hand. Because if we don't do this, the last portion, then we will practice, we become habitual for victim story. And I don't want to put any message or call people for meeting. Every meeting this happens. People don't respond only. Follow up. I will create a victim story or a helplessness story or a villain story. Powerful shift is complaint. This is a main point. Instead of only asking what is wrong with him, ask what can I do differently in this situation? Quietly. Because I want the numbers. I have to follow up. I roll. I have taken up that duty for my own chitta shuddhi. Suppose I am working in mission or in company, that is my job. In corporate training, I have seen 20 years I have been doing corporate training. This is one area where people always are frustrated. That people don't reply on time, don't give information on time, don't communicate on time, just keep quiet and just read. So now we will see one small video. Actually, I wanted to tell you this video I had seen maybe several years back. And this video is of a small boy, but it is very powerful. I personally liked it very much. And then I was thinking what to show in complaint. There has to be some video. This I remembered with God's grace, one of my favorite videos. This boy is so simple, maybe around 3-4, maybe 4 days.
तिकडे दुसरा व्हिडिओ चालू झाला.
I know what has started. I'm just checking.
No, next on YouTube, the next thing has started. So stop that. Stop sharing the audio also of media.
Where is that? I'm not able to figure out.
Okay, I'll come.
Gone.
हे बंदच करून टाक आता.
So one of the sentence there, what that boy, why like that, his video is, what do I practice? And whatever we practice, we become so good at it. That sentence I loved, and this video is a very old video, but I personally like that whatever we practice, we become like that. So these are the 9 no's to practice. But let's complete our session on no complaints. So with this practice, I must shift from victimhood to ownership, shift from blame to accountability, shift from limitation to possibility, shift from threat to learning. These are all stories, huh? That victim story, helplessness story, villain story. The complainer says, I don't like what is happening. The contributor says, what can I do about it? That is the shift. And what are the equations? Complain is problem minus power. There is no responsibility. I just share the problem with people. That is a complaint. Responsibility equation is problem plus power. Means I own up responsibility. I say, what can I do about it? Victor mentality is there is a challenge outside, stimuli outside, trigger outside, event outside, facts outside. I tell myself that I have a choice to respond. Guruji has said long time back, there is a video that what is the difference between when I, in one line, suppose somebody asks after learning Geeta for years and years, in one line difference will be my response to stimuli has to change. If people don't see that, then this knowledge is still not matured. So there is a challenge, there is a choice, and there is an action, and that leads to growth. That is where the complaining attitude shifts to growth mindset. So complaining mind, no peace. And grateful mind, which is opposite of complaining mind, is joyful mind, because that is what is very important to note, because opposite of complain is humility. So the moment I drop complaining in my life, I will experience that humbleness. And that can only happen if I practice daily gratefulness. So one of the very important practice is that when I get up in the morning, I must get up with a higher noble goal in the mind. If that goal is not coming in the mind, what is coming? Work is coming. इसके बाद खाना बनाना है, ब्रेकफास्ट करना है, इधर जाना है, बैंक में जाना है, मार्केट में जाना है, this I have to do, that I have to do, this I have to do. This doing is not a goal, it is process. And I must sleep at night with gratefulness that I have got so much. A great body, a family, money, this kind of satsang, knowledge is happening, but still I am complaining. Then Bhagavan says, okay, you have got into complaining habit. Next life, I will put you in a situation where your whole life you will complain because you have become very good at it. Whole life you complain, मेरे को पैसा नहीं दिया, आँख नहीं दिया, अंधा हो गया. You know, some slum I have born, no legs, no hands, mentally retarded, physically challenged, no money, no education, poverty, complain. Because you become so good at it. So, yasmanno dvijate loka, lokanno dvijate chaya, dukkheshvanudvik manah. That is our verse from Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan says in Gita to Arjun that stop complaining. You have got lots and lots and lots and lots of things. Stop complaining, and then I can shift to next level and achieve. And that I can do by asking one powerful question: what can I do in this situation? What can I contribute? What is the action I must take? That is the powerful shift. Hari Om, thank you very much. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.